Ralph and Carter Thompson founded the Ministry of Emergency Chaplains in 2008 to serve first responders in Durham, North Carolina. Today, they oversee a ministry that consists of 34 volunteer chaplains serving 19 agencies in 9 different counties across central North Carolina. At Emergency Chaplains, we minister to law enforcement officers, medics, firefighters, and communicators while serving side by side with them to care for people during difficult times. Our chaplains work with one focus in mind: to turn those in crisis toward Christ.
And that's when I asked him, where's what we called a little bit, and I said, where's a little bit? And he was like, she was still in the house. And they tried to go back in and couldn't get back in, tried to go back around the house. And
her name was Destiny. She was 12 years old. Her bedroom was the fire room. So I get on scene and I get briefed. So we go together to tell Destiny's parents that she's dead. And my question is, how do you do that? I teach death notification classes, but every time that I have to do it, it's different. It's so real, so painful. So we go into this. The house is crowded. It's the house next door. It's crowded. I remember that Sean goes to Robert, and then I go to Tanya. And I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was something like, I'm sorry to tell you that your daughter is dead. So I spent all day with the family, and we were, the best I can describe, we were all in shock. So the next morning, I think it's when I finally came to my senses, and all I could think of is I'm praying that morning, and the Lord just lays on my heart, you got to help these people. You need to do something to help them. And when we think about what they had lost, they didn't have any insurance. There's no life insurance. There's no property insurance. They've lost everything that they own, and even worse, they've lost their daughter.
Praying with our family, comforting us, where our hearts was real heavy. It was right there.
We didn't know anything about, the ministry of the chaplain, until we went through what we went through, yeah. So that right there, and I hate that we had to go through that, but it was a blessing that they was there too, so we can tell everybody, look, they there for you. They there.
So over the period of the next month, we raised, it was over $10,000 that people just gave. They gave to help somebody who desperately needed help. We paid off the funeral. We helped get Robert's parents a place to stay. We helped Robert and Tanya with setting up a new home.
That was a tremendous blessing, and we appreciate it in every way.
Yeah, I would truly say thank you, and we're truly grateful for what they did. They could have just read and said, another incident and kept on going. But they didn't, they thought about us and thought about our baby, and they gave, and I don't know what to say, but thank you, and I just let them know we're just grateful for what they did.
Hi, my name is Jay Rose. I've been a paramedic for the last 20 years. One particular call stands out in mind, where a child was severely mangled in an accident. I had a child the same age, and this call profoundly affected me in my career, and also what I believed to be what I was in at the time, my Christian life. So after the call, pretty much was an emotional wreck. what I saw affected me, and I know what I saw saddened me. So the fire chief at the department that I was working at called emergency chaplains, and they came to the department that night in the middle of the night and helped us start the healing process for all involved. For me more especially, it affected me to the point to where I was ready to quit. I was ready to give up on EMS. The emergency chaplains helped me grow, and they planted seeds in my heart to where when God gave the increase, I was able to maintain my job as a paramedic, and I actually grew in the job to do more than just provide emergency medical services, but also to try to provide spiritual healing.
Taking the comfort of Christ to people in crisis is the passion of emergency chaplains. We respond to calls where we get to minister to people who are facing the greatest crisis of their life. But sometimes the crisis comes to us.
My marriage was in shambles. I remember calling my brother. My brother thought the first thing that he said came to his mind was that I was going to commit suicide. I think Rita, she must have heard something in my voice or something, because that was right around the time she says, "You need to talk to Ralph. You need to talk to Ralph, and you need to set up an appointment."
So Jesse comes to my office. Now he's a patrol officer, Durham Police Department, on the streets, out where it's tough. But things are a whole lot tougher at home than they are out on the streets. But he gave me something to work with, because when I asked him, now whose fault is this? He tells me, you know what? It's my fault.
I didn't know how he was going to take me, telling him my secrets. And he didn't see me for the person I was, but for the person that I was going to be. I accepted Jesus into my life, and I asked Ralph to baptize me.
The ministry of emergency chaplains have definitely had a big impact in our life, because God used that as an instrument to save our marriage. If it wasn't for Chaplain Ralph and Carter, we would not be here. We would not be celebrating 20 years of marriage next month. And so God definitely used them to work a miracle in our life. And not only just in our marriage and in everyday things that Jesse experiences as being a police officer, they've been there for us, for him during difficult times. A shooting that he was involved in, he immediately called Chaplain Ralph, and so they've just been great. They're very warm and loving. They were, if I ever had issues, I knew that I could call Carter and talk to her, woman to woman, and they've just been great.